Hello, Big Team. Hello, friends. Welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth, and it is almost February. That means it is time to dust off your bonnets for the 4th annual Little House Readathon. I am so excited to bring this to you again this year. There are going to be 2 co-hosts this year, and I hope you will check out their channels. Naomi from Naomi's Bookshelf, who has been co-hosting this with me since the 2nd year of the Readathon. And if you caught the Livestream Wrap Up last year, we were joined by Lindsay from Lindsay Reads, and she is going to be a full-fledged co-host this year. So we are going to do another Livestream Wrap Up, and that will be on Saturday, February the 11th, which gives you one extra day to finish up whatever you're reading for the Little House trivia that we are going to do again this year. And we'll be discussing our group read, which I will get to in just a minute. But this is just simply a 4-day time period that I decided to set aside several years ago to celebrate the life of Laura Ingalls Wilder. And why February 7th through the 10th? That's because on February the 7th of 1867, Laura Ingalls was born, and she passed away on February the 10th, 1957. And it just seems like the perfect time to celebrate her life. And you can do that by joining in and reading anything by her, about her, related to her, or Little House on the Prairie television show, anything even to do with the prairie or pioneer women or whatever makes sense to you. So I hope that you will join us, and let me know in the comments if you are planning to participate, if you've participated in the past, and what you think you might read this year. So I am going to try to keep things very simple this year. In the past, I have tried to do a video every day of all 4 days of the readathon. I may not do that this year because I am just trying to simplify several areas of my life because I have various projects ongoing. And in case you didn't hear, I am currently working 10 hours a week in a used bookstore that is a couple of towns away from where I live, and I am still selling on eBay. I took over the eBay store that my husband had started several years ago. Well, I took it over in September of 2021, and I have been working really hard at trying to build that and keep it active and sell things that need to be gone from our house, and it's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. So if I don't do a video every day, please understand that is why. But I have a whole playlist of a lot of things that are related to Laura Ingalls Wilder, my own collections, and the places that I have visited that are her home sites, and just a lot of different things that I have done videos about over the years are all on one playlist that you can check out. I will leave a link to that on the end screen at the end of this video, and you can just go to my channel page and find it as well. So I am super excited this year because we are again going to do a group read, and I hope that you will participate in that and join in. Now, just as kind of a lead up to why I wanted to do the book we're going to do as a group read. So last year I started reading Pioneer Girl during the readathon, but I didn't get very far during the readathon because this is a long book. I read it throughout the month of February, and then I put it aside so that I could get through all of my March, April, and May readathons. And then I picked it back up, and I just chinked away at it, and I took several more months to finish it. I basically savored it through many months of last year, and I loved it. This book is such a treasure. So while I was reading the parts about the long winter, it just got me to really thinking and trying to put myself in their position, and I couldn't do it. I have experienced snow in my life. I grew up in Oklahoma, but to actually be snowed in somewhere and cut off from the rest of civilization and not be able to get food, I mean, that is just foreign to me. So I was fascinated by those sections. And then fast forward to the end of 2022 when Kate Howe announced that she was going to host an event for January and February called Whimsical Winter. And a couple of the prompts fit perfectly for this book by Laura Ingalls Wilder, The Long Winter. Now, I know that this is number 6 in the Little House series. And if you are reading it for the first time, I am in no way encouraging you to skip ahead and get to this book. But if you've read the series before, you don't have to go back and reread in order. You can read, you can pick and choose and read. You can dip in wherever you feel like it. And I want to just suggest to you that right now, while it's winter, that we pick up The Long Winter and read it. And then for those of you who may be reading Little House for the first time, the Little House series, maybe you've read 1 or 2 and you don't want to skip over to 6, and I don't blame you. I don't want you to. But we've got a couple of weeks between now and when we're going to discuss this. So go ahead and read whatever you need to read in the middle before you get to this, and then be ready to read this by the end of the Little House Readathon, which ends on February 10th, and our live stream will be February 11th. So you have between now and February 11th to read whatever you need to read in between and pick this up. I think all of these books are on audio, and I want to just encourage you to read them, listen to them, whatever you want to do. I have heard from several of you who have participated in this readathon for the last few years that you have picked up and read and reread books from the series anyway. So even though I'm encouraging you to read anything that is related to Laura Ingalls Wilder in any way, we still want to always kind of go back to the basics and just remember the wonderful books that these are. So I want to encourage you to join us to read The Long Winter, whether you have read it a million times. Well, if you've read it a million times, you don't have to reread it. You could still participate in the discussion, and you could participate in our trivia game that we will be doing during the live stream. So we will chat a little bit about The Long Winter, and then we have some questions about it. Now, last year, if you caught our live stream, we did the trivia questions for Little House in the Big Woods. That wasn't our group read. I just wanted to go through this book, and I just thought it would be fun to play trivia. I hadn't even opened the book until the night that we did this. So what I discovered is that there is a section of questions for each of the Laura Ingalls Wilder books, from Little House in the Big Woods all the way through the first 4 years. So each year we'll do a different book. So next year we may go back then and do the questions for Little House on the Prairie or for Farmer Boy. This has them in the order that I remember from my childhood, which had Little House on the Prairie being book 2, although it was not. I know. I found this out later. Farmer Boy was actually the second book written. They can really go in either order, so whatever order you choose is fine. Anyway, we will, though, this year do the trivia questions for The Long Winter. So it will be a great time and a good excuse for you to read The Long Winter and brush up on the things from this book so that you can enjoy our trivia game during the live stream. So, what are you planning to read for the Little House Readathon? I may not do a separate TBR video, so let me just tell you a little bit about what I am thinking. Now, since I read Pioneer Girl last year, I kind of wanted to tackle one of the other big books that I have, but I don't want it to take me all year. I was originally leaning towards Little House in the Ozarks, a Laura Ingalls Wilder sampler, The Rediscovered Writings, edited by Stephen W. Hines. But I looked at this, and this has, like, maybe not quite 150 different articles. Less than that, but more than 100. And I thought, oh, that's going to take me a few months. And I'm already reading a big 1,000-page book, Ken Follett book right now. So I thought maybe not. And then I was looking back, rewatching part of our live stream from last year, and Lindsay mentioned that she read this one. And I have started both of these in previous years. My mother, I believe, gave me both of these, and I remember reading from both of them, but I don't know that I ever completely read either of them cover to cover. So I opened this up and I was like, oh, okay, this one is doable. There are quite a few pictures and the font is larger, and I just think this is definitely more doable to read within the month. So I'm leaning towards this one now as my print book. But I've got another print book that I've been wanting to read for a couple of years. I am really interested in reading all of the celebrity memoirs of the stars from Little House on the Prairie. I haven't been able to find this one on audio, but this is Melissa Gilbert's Prairie Tales. I really do want to read this one. Now, there are some I've seen on audio that I would love to get to, and it's more likely that I will get to at least one of these this year, but Karen Grassley has one, and I remember Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes mentioning that she met her not too long ago and got a copy of the book and got it signed. So Mitzi, if you're watching this, if you haven't read that yet, you could read it during the Little House Readathon. And I hope to possibly listen to that one on audio. I did notice that it was on Scribd. Last year, I listened to the Alison Arngrim memoir, and that was heartbreaking. It was so compelling, and I would recommend that one. But it's a tough read for sure. But I also noticed that Melissa Sue Anderson has one, and even the actress who played Miss Beadle, the teacher, has a memoir. So any of those are, of course, fair game for the readathon, and I will try to pick up one or two of those, possibly one on audio, and then I may go ahead and try to get this one in as well. There are several other books that I would love to read, but like I said earlier, I am going to try to keep things as simple as possible. But just note, I'm still very interested in leading this as a year-long read-along, and by this I mean this is the first book in the Martha years. There are several series of books that are related to Laura and her ancestors and her family: the Martha years, the Charlotte years, the Caroline years, and the Rose years. And I would love to read all of those in chronological order, starting with the Martha years, and it would probably take us a year to do them all, but so many of them are out of print. And I had encouraged you a couple of years ago to write to HarperCollins. I will put that email in the description again. I would just encourage them, if they don't really want to spend the money reissuing them in print, to just do them on ebook. It can't be that big of a deal to publish books on ebook. I mean, I don't know what's involved in that, but I just want them to be accessible again, because there are no ways to get these books except to find them used, and at least one of them is super rare, and you can't even find it on eBay for less than $50. So not this one, but it's the fourth one, either in this series or the next one. I think it's the Charlotte years. Anyway, they're hard to find, and I have not actually checked to see if anybody has read them on audio, like on YouTube. I suspected that they would have gotten taken down if they had, but I don't know. I am just hoping that at some point in the near future that HarperCollins will reissue these and republish these series so that we can read them. And meanwhile, if you see any of them anywhere, ever, at a library sale, used bookstore, or whatever, if they're affordable, I'm not trying to tell you to go pay $50 for one, but if they're affordable, I want to encourage you to pick them up. Check and see if your library has them, and check them out. Even if you're not ready to read them, check them out. So that will encourage your library to keep them longer and not weed them out. So anyway, this is just a note for the future. I'm still really wanting to read this as a read-along, and I'm hoping that we can all find these at some point. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, the readathon will be February the 7th through February 10th, with a live stream on February the 11th, which is a Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I hope you will join us, and let me know in the comments what you're planning to read. So for now, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, dust off your bonnet, and God bless you.